Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Solar Podcast. Here we're talking all about solar energy and what it means to change your life and switch to solar energy. We want to welcome you into the podcast. We are a little bit earlier today than normal. Life has been playing racquetball with us, me and my family. And from that standpoint, we're starting to put ourselves back into the mainstream of our lives and, just get back into the routine of being who we are. So I said all of that to say that today we are here earlier, but normally we would be here at 6 p.m. on Thursday from 6 to 7. So you won't miss anything by listening to us early. And for those of you who happen to catch us later, you'll understand that it was because we were here earlier. My name is Robin Fahmy, and I love solar energy. I am here to just share information about solar energy, what it is, how it works. Is it something that you can consider? Is it something that would be good for you? What what it takes to make that transition. Some of you may be familiar with the fact that I now understand that my passion found me, and that is solar. That's what I do. I talk about it, I sell it, I install it, I help people with problems. And yes, I do own my own business, solar energy business, which is very new for me. And probably I may be one of the few African American women in this space. What I want to do in this space more than anything is to educate homeowners about solar energy. And the reason that I want to be your subject matter expert is because there are so many people knocking doors. Your inboxes are being flooded with emails regarding solar energy. Um, if you click on it, it will take you to a page and ask you to put in your information. And once you put all of your pertinent information in, then you'll get a call from a solar company, and their objective is to chat with you and determine whether or not solar is right for you and if it's something that you want to pursue. If it is, usually they'll make a sale. Nothing at all wrong with that, except from my perspective, there is a lot more information that you probably need to know so that you can be sure that you made the absolute best choice, the best choice in companies to actually do that installation for you, and just the best choice in system. Um, Understand that solar modules that you see mounted on the rooftops of homes, they are not just there haphazardly. Those systems are custom. It's a custom design for every home. You cannot, you cannot compare your solar system on your rooftop to your neighbors or anyone else's, because each home is individualized, meaning that what goes on in my home is far different from what may go on in your home. What I mean by that is I've got 4 adults in my house, and we use energy differently from, let's just say, a young family, a husband, a wife, and let's say 4 children. You may even have some pets in the home with you. So if I have a young family, then you have to consider that I may be using more electricity than for adults because I may have more laundry to do. I may run my television, more than one television, a lot more often because I've got to entertain children. And then maybe I cook a lot. And then maybe I'm running my air conditioner a lot, and possibly my temperature is set at 73, 74 degrees, which means that it's running longer, and overall, I'm using more kilowatts. And let's just say that maybe you have a family of only two people, but one of the persons in the home is ill and being taken care of at home. If that person is utilizing medical devices, we don't know how many, but it's possible that the medical devices might have to run 24 hours a day or however long they have to run. Those medical devices may be using more kilowatts, more amperage than I'm using in my house. So this is the reason that you should never, ever compare your system to your neighbors or anybody else's, especially people who are out of state, because Texas is ranked, I believe, number two, could be number three, but it's definitely in the top five states that get more sun than any other states. So if I'm in Texas and you're in Louisiana, or maybe you're in New York or New Hampshire, places that you know winters are really cold, then my sun hours are perhaps a lot longer than those in other states. So there are a lot of variables that you have to consider when you make this decision to go solar. I, whenever my husband and I made the conscious decision to transition to solar energy, we had studied a little bit, so we knew a little bit about the why we were transitioning to solar, because we just got tired of the high electricity bills. For us, those winter months, couple of months in the winter and 2 to 3 to possibly 4 months in the summer, where those bills were in excess of $300, that can make you think about how long do I want to, go down this particular path? Because what we do know is that electricity is going to increase over time. It's never going to decrease. So if I'm getting bills that average in excess of $300 a month, let's just say 5 months out of the year, that's enough to hurt my pocket, possibly. That's enough to make me consider we need to do something about this. And so, from that perspective, we studied and we learned about solar. And then we actually set with, I believe we probably set with maybe 5 or 6 solar companies that did presentations for us. I will say the one thing that was kind of uniform is the number of panels that we needed. One company said we needed 54. Another company said we needed 60. Another said we might need 64. So there's a difference in that number of panels, but the spread is not so far off that you go, oh no. We then had a choice after we understood that the amount of energy that we are using every month, that system has to produce at least that. So maybe 54 panels or 50 panels would give me that much production. Now, the question becomes, do I want to offset my energy in a way that if I happen to use more energy, will I still have enough production to cover that? And so this is where 54, 62, or 64 panels would come in. So we decided to offset our energy by 104%, which meant that we would be installing 54 panels. And I can say that over the past 3 years, that our system has produced enough energy to cover our electricity usage as well as the other items that are connected with that bill. Those items are base charges. Whatever electric company that you are with, they charge a base charge no matter what. They charge a base charge. Then you have your energy usage. How many kilowatts did you use in that 30-day period that they're charging you for? So you've got the kilowatts, the number of kilowatts. Now, maybe you're paying 10 cents per kilowatt, maybe you're paying 9 cents per kilowatt. Whatever you're paying per kilowatt, then that is going to result in dollars. So now you've got your base charge, you've got your electricity usage charge, you will have delivery charges, because most of these electricity companies that we are signed up with, they are not producing the energy. They actually buy the energy wholesale from another company that is producing the energy, like TXU and Oncor. They actually produce energy. And here in our local area, Oncor is the one who is delivering the energy. Oncor is the entity that takes care of the lines, the wires. When I say wires, when you see an electric pole, with the wires running on it, or you see these towers with wires running, somebody has to maintain those lines so that the energy can be delivered. And that's what Oncor does for us. So you've got those charges. It's important that you understand as much as possible prior to going solar, so that when you make that switch, when you switch to solar, then it will work the way you expect it to work, because you were educated prior to and during the process of your purchase. Now, that's what I am here for. That's what I really, really, really am doing in this space. It is my inspiration and it is my desire to educate homeowners. Okay? You have to. There's just no way around that. If you go around understanding what solar energy is, how solar energy works, is my house a good fit for solar? Can I find an electric company that will do a one-to-one solar buyback so that I pay the same amount for my energy usage as I am charged for it? They pay me back the same thing. You've got to know and understand this for it to make good sense. So my role is to educate homeowners through in-home presentations, of course, and here very soon I will be doing switch to to solar workshops. And in those workshops, that's the objective. I will teach you how to read your electricity bill. I am also an energy broker. So if you need some help even figuring out which electricity company to go with, I can help you do that. But more than anything, we're going to help you understand solar, because this is so important right now, because solar energy, it's coming. I mean, I cannot stress it enough. It is going to be a way of life. And what I mean by that is every rooftop practically that you see in the very near future will have solar modules on the rooftops. And we will be generating our energy from the sun. And since I know that we are on the cutting edge of this, some of you think about solar, oh, I don't want that. I don't want that on my house. I don't like the way it looks. There are several reasons as to why you may not want it. But what I want you to understand is that it is going to be just a way of life. And then in 10 or 15 years after that span, people will wonder, how did we ever live without solar energy and solar modules mounted on our rooftops? Believe me, it's coming. Some of you may have noticed that electric cars are becoming very popular. Mm-hmm. A lot of people want them. Some people like, I'm not ready for that. Others realize that the technology has not been perfected just yet. And so you're kind of just waiting, you're just in the cut. You're just waiting for everything to get right. And once that happens, then, you're out to the dealership and you're ready to buy yours. And it's possible that in the future, if you do have an electric car, it's possible that the battery in that car can act as a storage for the overproduction that you're producing, or the energy that you're producing from your rooftop modules. And if that's the case, so you're gone in your car all day long, but when you come home, now I'm not saying this is the way it is. This is just my imagination. It's not really running away with me. It's really a possibility. So it's just my imagination thinking that maybe you're gone 9 to 5 during the day in your electric car. You come home, you plug your car in to charge it. While that car is charging, now instead of your overproduction or your production of energy going to the grid, it may be able to be stored in your battery. And if your car is home at night and your energy is stored there, then you can use that energy from that battery source instead of pulling energy from the grid. Now, let's go back and understand that, yes, I have solar modules on my rooftop. I am producing my own energy. I am a power plant. When I am producing energy during the daytime, I'm also using that energy. And that makes me different from most others, in my neighborhood and just in general, because right now, the number of homes that actually have solar modules mounted on top is a lot less than those homes that don't. So it puts me kind of in a category all of my own, because during the day, I am producing the energy that I'm using. But guess what? At night, when the sun goes down, I'm just like you. I mean, I turn right back into a regular consumer because at that point, I am pulling energy from the grid just like anybody else. Um, Again, my name is Robin Fafney. I'm here in the Dallas Fort Worth Metroplex area, specifically DeSoto, Cedar Hill, Lancaster area. Some of you may be familiar with just last week in this area, we had rolling blackouts because everybody knows it has been hot, hot, hot. I mean, just severe heat. And so, from that standpoint, they try to take as much pressure off of the grid as they can. And so, in our area last week, we had rolling blackouts. In that we had rolling blackouts, my husband's daughter, she called and came over with her children because they had no electricity. Now, we had electricity at my home, and maybe it had nothing to do with the fact that we had solar panels on the rooftop. It may have just had to do with the fact that some of you notice that when the power goes out, you still have power. So if you are living near an emergency facility like the 911 center, a police station, a fire station, or hospitals, if you are on the same part of the grid that those utilities are connected with, you may not lose power because, you don't want to lose power to 911. You don't want to lose power to calling the emergency vehicles like the fire department, the police. So that may have been part of the reason why we did not experience loss of power at my home. Because understand that even though during the day I am producing the energy that I am using, but if there is a blackout and they have to shut that grid down, then they're going to shut me down as well because they cannot have energy flowing backwards to the grid for storage from my system. If they have people working on the lines, then that's an unsafe situation. So understand that if there is a power outage, if you lose power, if the grid is down and you have solar panels, you're going down as well. Okay? However, if you have a battery and you're able to store your production of energy in that battery, then if there is a power outage, then you will still be able to use your power that has been stored in that battery. So the next thing on the list is to get a battery. Yes, they are expensive right now, but they are slowly coming down, and eventually we will be able to afford batteries as well. If you have any questions about solar energy and whether or not your home is a good fit for solar and just want to understand more about it, please don't hesitate. Give me a call, 214-497-7440. And if you are listening right now and you have questions, you can also write your questions in the, what they're writing their questions in.
Or a little comment thing. I can see it.
In the comment. If you write questions in the comment section, we will see that, and I will be more than happy to answer any questions that you have. So again, my mission, my mission is to empower homeowners through education and in-home presentations so that you can confidently choose solar power as your primary source of energy. The goal of going solar is to eliminate and or reduce high electricity bills and create a fixed payment if it makes sense. So, what's the problem? High electricity bills. What's the solution? Produce your own power. How do you do that? You understand whether or not going solar is the right call, the right move for you, the right choice. When you make that decision, then you pass the ball to me. I will collect your electricity bill and we will do some calculations. From those calculations, we will design a custom system for your home. Then we will make an appointment, come back to you, and review that proposal. Then, if you say, let's move forward with this, then we go through the closing of that. You've got your financing in place, and we sign the paperwork. Once that paperwork is signed, then we help you understand what the next steps are. But keep in mind that going solar, if it makes sense for you at this point in time, usually for most companies that you might work with, there is a zero out-of-pocket cost. It won't cost you any money out of your pocket to get started. There is right now a 30% tax credit that's available if you qualify. What do I mean by if you qualify? Well, whatever the cost of your custom system is, then 30% of that, you will have access to 30% of the cost in the form of a credit. When you do your taxes, your tax returns for that year, then if you owe money to the Internal Revenue, you can use that credit to pay down that liability, the money that you owe. So if you've got a 30% tax credit that, let's just say, equals $8,000. So you have $8,000 in credit that you can use to pay off any amount of money that you owe to the Internal Revenue. So let's say you owe $5,000. Then you can use that credit to pay that $5,000 and you will have $3,000 left, which means that next year, when it's time to do your taxes, you can use the remaining $3,000. Sometimes it may take 1 year to use up all the money, because if you have heavy liabilities and you usually owe money to the Internal Revenue, then you will more than likely have a debt that this credit will help to satisfy. If the debt is less than the credit, then that credit will roll over. It will roll over for between 5 and 10 years. I'm not sure about that right now, but if we were in a real conversation, and I will get that for you, I would give you the exact time frame for the expiration of that credit, but it will just roll over for X number of years until it's used up. So if solar makes sense, then you got the zero out of pocket. It's not going to cost you anything. You have the 30% tax credit that you can use towards future um, payments that you may owe to the Internal Revenue. Now, most of these systems are financed, okay? And usually, if I sit at the table with you, I will have a finance company, 1, 2, or 3 companies that we can connect with and see where we get approval. But there is a minimum 650 credit score that is required for the financing. And there is a pretty hefty referral fee. So if solar makes sense, then these are reasons to move forward. If you've thought about going solar, you have any interest in going solar, call me up, 214-497-7440, and we can talk about it. And believe me, I'm not asking you or anyone that you know, anyone that you may refer to me, I'm not asking you to believe what I say about this. I will share enough information with you that you can go and research it out. You can go and check it. If you then want to come back to me, that is absolutely fine. I know a lot of people don't think that I should say to you that if you choose to purchase from someone else, then you do that. But I will have done my job because my job is to educate you.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm here for. I'm not greedy in the way that I want every solar sale for myself. No, but I am insistent on homeowners being aware, being educated, having a good, thorough understanding, because I deal with people every day who have problems. And the reason they have problems is because they just did not know what they did not know. They didn't know, that solar needs a particular roof pitch to sit on to get the best production. They didn't know that the south facing roof is the number one, it is the best for, mounting your system. Now, the companies that come to you, they know these things, but what if they didn't do it right? What if they didn't do something right? How would you know? Because I tell my customers, anybody that I talk to, anybody in my classes, when you make a decision to go solar, you have chosen the company that you want to utilize. Then what they say is, okay, that's it. You don't have anything else to do. We will take it from here. And we will take it from here means that any permits that you need, we will pull them. Any engineering specs that you need, we will get. Anything that is necessary for this process to proceed in the very best way, we'll do it for you. But how do you know they did it? When they come to your home and it's time to mount that system, and do you question them? Okay, you all have everything you need. Did you pull permits? Okay, let me see the permit that you pulled. Because believe me, you want to have those items as a part of your paperwork when this is all complete. You have your presentation, you have your contract, you have your manufacturer's warranty, you have the warranty from the company, the installation warranty, and now you have all of your permits, you have copies of your checks, you have everything. Do it the right way. And this is important because When it's time to sell your home, if you have that type of paperwork showing what you did, how you did it, and you are also keeping the invoices from the electricity companies that show that your bill has been zero or very minimal for 2 years, 3 years, however long you've had that system prior to selling, that's going to be a good selling point because adding solar to your rooftop, to your home, it does add value. Now, it will not increase your property value. So if you're paying taxes of $3,000 a year, okay, adding solar modules is not going to cause that to go up at all. But the value of your home, that sales price, that appraised price, it will add value to that. Imagine that you are familiar with solar energy and you are about to purchase a home for you and your family. You have a good idea about how much energy it takes per month for your family, and now you get to see a home. The realtor is showing you a home that has solar attached. You're excited because you have wanted solar for a long time. And now this home that you're about to purchase has solar already, so you don't have to go through the hassle of adding it to your roof. It's already there. And imagine me as the seller. I have all of my paperwork that will answer any and all questions that you might have about how long have I had solar? Do I like it? Did it provide the energy offsets that you expected? How much have your bills been for the past 3 years, 4 years, 5 years? Now imagine me having a book, a notebook with all of my documentation there, and I've got 3 years, 4 years, 5 years of bills that show exactly what I have paid. That is valuable. So when that homeowner, that new homeowner moves into that home, that person moves in with actually no electricity bill because he didn't pay for it. You know, it was either rolled into the cost or it was paid off before they bought it. Preferably, it was paid off. So if he bought a home or that family purchased a home that did not necessarily transfer payments to him, he didn't have to assume any payments of that system or anything. He's just now moving in with the luxury of no electricity bill, no payments to a finance company for those panels. Now, of course, he has the payments, his regular mortgage payment, but that's it. That's value. That's how having a solar system on your home adds value. And there are a couple of other examples that I can give, but I'm sure that if you just closed your eyes and you kind of move through that scenario, you can understand it. And it's very reasonable because it's coming. Solar module systems are coming to a rooftop near you, and eventually it will be your roof. So what I'm wanting to do is just make sure you know enough about it to make the best decisions. Now, I know when I purchased my panels 3 years ago, the sales representative did not tell me that I needed to wash those panels, that they needed to be cleaned every now and then in order to maintain a level of production. because there is some degradation. You're going to lose a percentage of production over time. But they didn't tell me that. I didn't know to ask that, but I know it now. And in that I know it now, I'm able to share that with you. I'm even thinking about, okay, maybe I need to give them a call and ask them why they didn't tell me that. Because, that may present as a negative, as a reason why maybe you don't want solar, but everything comes with a little bit of work. Everything requires maintenance. And keeping those panels clean, washing them maybe once a year, even if you just did it every other year, that is a form of maintenance that will help to keep your production high. And if your production is high, that means that you're going to be able to offset your energy usage, and you may very well have enough overproduction that was sent back or exported back to the grid to pay for the other aspects of your bill. What did we say? Base charge, taxes, delivery charge. And there may be something else in there because every company has something a little different. Whatever that is, you want it to be zero. Now, I mentioned that in 3 years, I have paid 4 bills. Okay. And here in June, it was time for me to either renew my contract with the electricity company that I had been with for 3 years because it worked for me, or it was time for me to choose another one. So after researching the company that I had been with for 3 years, they were lacking a little bit, meaning that they no longer had a dollar for dollar solar buyback, which meant that I pay a particular cost for my energy, and then they would buy back my overproduction at a lesser price. That didn't work for me. Now, when I found another company that did have a very good solar buyback, and I studied them enough to realize that my system was or should be producing enough to cover everything. So the first bill that I got in July was $4.94. So I go from paying only 4 bills in 3 years, most of my bills were zero, to paying $4.94. Okay, that's not so bad, but I really don't want to pay that. I don't want to pay anything. Then now my bill this past month for August came in at zero and gave me a $21 credit. So now I have a credit that rolls over into the next month. And, if I'm lacking, hopefully that will be enough. But, that's what you want. And this is what I mean. If you understand solar, it will work if you know how to work it. Here's what I want you to hear right now. Switching to solar should not be hard. It really should not be hard. But there are a lot of moving parts, and you've got to understand how to maneuver. Just like being a new driver, you study the handbook, and there's all sorts of information in there, and you wonder if you will ever comprehend all of the information and be able to apply it. And eventually you master driving, and driving becomes an involuntary thing that you do. You're kind of on autopilot. That autonomic nervous system just kicks in, and it just knows what to do when you sit behind the wheel of that car. And that's how I want you to comprehend solar energy so that nobody can put anything over on you, and you know who to call if they do. And that's me, Robin Fahmy. Okie dokie. What time are we at?
You at 45 minutes.
Oh, I'm at 45 minutes. Well, I really don't know if I have a whole lot more to say to you all today. Let's see. Nobody has made a comment or sent me a message. So here's what I'm going to ask you to do. I'm going to ask you that if you are scrolling on Facebook and you come across this particular live segment, listen to it, share it with your family and friends, and you can make comments thereafter. I do go back and I check these lives, and if there are any comments, I take a look at them, and usually whatever that comment or question is, I will bring it back to the next week's show, and we will usually open up with whatever that is. We are live on Facebook every Thursday, 6 p.m. to 7 p.m., and it also streams live on YouTube, Audible. No, not Audible. It's audio only. Well, I may be getting an audio book, an Audible audio book. Maybe that's coming up. But you can listen to it audio only on Spotify and iHeartRadio. So there are many ways to listen, and I am just expecting that moment when this particular podcast catches fire and everybody is listening and people are registering for the workshops that we're doing, because I'm going to put the work in to do everything that I need to do to become visible and to gain exposure so people know that I am here. Real quickly before we go, I'm going to tell you, this is my passion. I love solar energy. I have done 1,001 things in my life, and all of them have been good, pretty much. I haven't really done anything that I didn't like per se. When you are a multi-talented person, sometimes finding that one thing can be difficult, and you just continue to move around in a circle, one thing and then the other and then the other and one thing more. But for me, 3 years ago, sitting at my kitchen table, talking with my husband and a solar energy representative, I began to understand that, hey, I can do this. I like it. But even more than that, there was a particular situation. The company that was representing solar was out of integrity. And when I called them on it, things got really complex and heated. And I realized at that point that homeowners need an advocate. We need somebody out here telling the truth. We need guidance to understand solar energy. And I decided that, hey, the space is wide open for me. The space to move out and be able to advocate for homeowners and to teach, to educate regarding solar energy. I love it. If you have not found that thing that you want to do, the thing that makes you get up in the morning, the thing that you would do even if you didn't get paid for it. I used to hear people say that all the time. I thought I understood it, but now I really understand it. Don't give up. If you've got dreams, keep them alive and go do it. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and close right now. I'm going to again let you know that I am Robin Fahmy. I am your solar energy expert. I am here to empower homeowners through education and in-home presentations so that you can make the best decision when it comes to switching to solar. If you switch to solar energy, I promise you that it will work if you know how to work it. I'll see you next Thursday, 6 p.m. Share, like, subscribe, all that stuff that you all know you're supposed to do to lift me up. All righty? Take care. And thank you so much for listening.